right, maybe a little bit. Maybe you give them a shorter period of time of exposure, or there's safety zones that they can explore within the game.
Yeah, also just being able to watch football on TV. Remember back in the day, match of the day,
isn't it?
Yeah.
Hi guys, Barry here from HYA Football, episode 4 of our podcast, and we have another very important and special guest with us, who is Jack Amelot. He is part of the original trio with Amoy and Theo. So we've got him down just to learn a little bit more of his story, his journey in football coaching, as well as his experience in and around education as a PE specialist. So Jack, welcome. Great to have you down here.
Yeah.
Appreciate spending a bit of time with us. How's things?
All good, thank you. Thank you for having me on today.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Now, as we normally do, we just get to open up with a few questions so that people get to know a little bit about yourselves. So for the people that may not know who you are, can you give us a little bit of context of what you do and how you've come about your journey in coaching and in teaching as well, and maybe a little snapshot of your interest and hobby around football?
So I started football coaching around 6 years ago. So when I was at college at Stanmore, where you was obviously my teacher. So started there, started at Hendon coaching, then just worked my way up, basically just started finding places to get into teams and stuff, where obviously at Hendon I got my first team, which was around 2 years in after I started coaching, which was just community type sessions and stuff. Then after that, a couple of years down the line, got into teaching, where I went into schools to do PE teaching, which has been a good journey so far and enjoying every minute.
Brilliant. Yeah, so you've got a busy plate in terms of what you do on a day-to-day basis, juggling the 2 or 3 kind of roles and responsibilities. Let's talk about the start of your maybe interest around football. Now, that usually stems to your childhood. So talk us through how it was that you were introduced to football. What were your first moments? Why did you enjoy it or have a passion towards the football? At what ages were you?
I started playing primary school, where I was in year 3, so around 7 years old. The main reason I started playing was just because I saw my friends playing, and I thought, why not? Something that me and my friends could do. So joined in and then never really looked back, to be fair, just kept playing. At the time as well, one of my PE teachers at school ran football sessions after school as well. So after school, that's when I started to get properly introduced to football. I'd go down to the sessions that he'd take, just go play with my friends and enjoy it, basically, yeah.
So you're telling me pretty much friends were doing it, so that was an easy win.
Yeah.
Get yourself building those relationships from an early stage, and then the curiosity and the excitement and the love and passion started to just naturally unfold for yourself, like most young aspiring players.
Yeah.
What would you say allowed you to just find more exciting moments in football and love towards it? Like you say, you got your friendship groups, but were there other things that you were discovering at that crucial early stage?
Also just being able to watch football on TV. Remember back in the day, match of the
football,
day,
isn't it?
Yeah.
Back in the day, the old school days.
Back in the day, after school, come home, probably stay up later than I should be, watching match of the day, and then just seeing all of these players, these fantastic, great players on TV. To be fair, that's where I got my first love for Man United, the team that I support. Just growing up watching them win things. But funnily enough, when my mum used to buy me kits, she would buy me Chelsea kits, Arsenal kits, wanting me to go onto
She was sabotaging your main passion for United. So what would you do with those extra kits?
To to be fair, I'd wear them because they're kids, so I'd make it work. But yeah, it was good.
Did you get any grief from your friends?
To be fair, not really. Not really.
They're good pals.
Yeah. They were all good, to be fair.
Yeah.
But watching football, just playing it at school with my friends, after school, just playing and watching as much football as I could. Yeah.
So you're telling me your mum was trying to sabotage you to think logically because she already seen years later what Man United would be destined to be. So of course, football is cycles, by the way. So you'll be under rise at some point. I
Hopefully.
just don't know when. It's brilliant that you're talking about you got yourself immersed in it, where you're not just playing it on the playgrounds or in the after school clubs, but you're seeing it on TV. And was that then the dream, the aspirations at those young, crucial stages that I want to be a footballer, this is what I love doing, my friends are all doing it, like I can't see anything else apart from that? Like, was there a big identity to you wanting to be known as a footballer at that early stage?
Yeah, those early years growing up, the main thing that was on my mind was football, to become a football player. Those were, at the time, if I had goals, that was my only goal, just to make it.
Okay. Fast forward a few years then.
Yeah.
Did you still have those like bullish thoughts towards wanting to become a professional, or how does it play out? Because parents, I guess, want to know what it's like for their child who, similar to yourself, wants to be destined to be a Premier League superstar or win the World Cup, and they don't know how to maybe manage those conversations. Like, they want to definitely encourage their child to be dreaming and be aspirational to what they want to pursue, but at the same time there's that reality hit. So walk me through those crucial times of when football wasn't as easy as what you thought it'd be, or was there times at a youth stage when it was becoming more challenging?
Just say, as I got older, playing at a competitive level, football was good, but I say as you get older, trying to get into the professional game, especially at, like we just spoke about, like the Premier League standard, much harder. So I think a bit of realistic thoughts need to come into play, where you need to think of a level that you could reach, that is something that you'd like to do, that would give you the motivation to play, but also something that's doable.
What would that look like in reality? So if it can't be the Premier League, and we say that as, say, the academy systems, there's still the academy Premier League teams, right?
Yeah.
If a child is not able to reach that at that moment in time, what does the next stage behind look like, or a couple steps behind look like, for them to go, I'm still in a great position of environment? Because we spoke just off air about the realities of where players might be situated in a really good environment, but they're still wanting to stretch a bit further ahead, not knowing that where they're currently at, they're getting good value for their time and efforts. So what does the next stage below academy football look like?
If you are a child or a young child, under 15, under 14, under 16, playing at a good semi-professional level, whether you're under a non-league team, which you're representing, with a pathway to then push on to the first team. I think that's a good level.
And we said about the different levels of youth setups with Grassroots, because there's now groupings, isn't there? And it's from under 12s up where they actually do have league statuses, whereas below that, the FA, I think, have rightly eradicated any league statuses, just so that children, parents, anyone connected in that early stage of football goes back to what you said earlier about just enjoy it, just fall in love with the game. Don't put the pressure on it too early, so to speak. So I guess, is it the different levels of group competition players will find themselves at that threshold of, right, this is my level. Obviously I want to get higher, but I need to work really hard at that group and within the team and start becoming effective and hopefully winning games.
Yeah.
So when we're looking at a player that may be struggling at their current level, how do you look at that particular scenario with either speaking to the player themselves or to the parent around they're finding it difficult? What would your strategies or tactics be regarding that?
Probably first and foremost, I'd speak to the player, just to understand how they're finding it. If they are at a level that maybe is too high for them at the moment, how they feel when they are training, when they are playing matches. What are their thoughts on their current position in the team, like, or in training, in their matches, like, do they feel like they're getting enough touches on the ball? Do they feel like they're having opportunities to improve, to showcase themselves? If not, it could be a conversation where we put them in an environment where they'll be able to showcase themselves a bit more at maybe a even level playing field, just to try help them as best as possible, give them the confidence that they need to play the game.
So when I'm looking at that, and I agree that they need to be put in maybe a different environment to where they're not finding their kind of self-worth or confidence. In that other environment, is that them closing the door to the current sticking points, or is there kind of transactions going, try a bit of this and try a bit of this, so it's a blended approach? Yeah.
I'd definitely say so, yeah. If it's not working at this specific moment, at the environment that is maybe a little bit more difficult, it doesn't mean that this is going to be closed off forever. Just try this environment out for a while, see how you find it there, see whether you're able to showcase everything that you have, and then possibly you can just make that step back up. And then, I think a door should never be closed at that age as well, when
truthfully,
children all develop at different stages, different rates. So
and when we look at these different examples, so we're saying the pressurized moment is maybe that team where they're not performing or the team's not getting the results that they're deserving. In the next environment, we're offering a bit of patience, time, and going back to falling in love and enjoyment, and less pressure. Does it have to be related to coaching, like development, or could it literally be get a ball, get your mates, get down to the park and have a kick about, right? Or go to the cage that's close to where you live and then just play your five-a-sides. So, like, what does it look like in reality, like for that blended, for yourself personally?
For myself personally, when I was playing, I think I trained maybe twice a week with my team with a game on a Sunday at the time. But during the week, the other days, I'm going to Power League as much as possible. I'm going to the park. I'm going with my friends. Just a ball, 4 or 5 people, just playing matches, just playing.
Why? What was your motive to do that? Is that because you've seen yourself, I need to get better at the team, or because I just love going out with my mates, there's nothing else to do apart from football and we're having a great time doing that?
A bit of everything, to be fair. Like, just that self-improvement, trying to play as much as I can to improve, doing something that I love with my friends, and just having the opportunity to just play, just be free and play. I come across a lot of young people, and young people I'd say is the high school age group or college age group of, like, say 11 up to your 19, 20-year-olds. And all they want to do is just play. Sometimes they don't want the adults of the coaches telling them the tactics, the technique, and what they're not doing right. They just want to be free to go out with their friends, express themselves, make as many mistakes as possible, like obviously try and beat your mates, right? And just have a laugh. Like, there's no pressure towards those types of moments of football, right? When it comes to environments, now you're talking as an adult that still works in football. What are the real significant importance of a positive environment that either the coach, players, parents, anyone connected to that
influence of how it shapes the environment, what should be a crucial 2 to 3 non-negotiables for you?
Sessions or an environment that you place your child in has to be fun, has to allow children to make mistakes, and the opportunity to learn and grow. Those would be my 3, yeah.
Is that what you had in your youth?
Yeah. Going back to all of the coaches that coached me when I was playing, all those 3 things were always in place.
What makes it fun, by the way? Like I said, is it just the ball and your mates and kick about? Because sometimes it could go the other way and you're arm wrestling each other or in headlocks with each other, scrapping over who scored that last goal. Or
I think it also comes down to the individuals or the team that you are in, and the mindset of the players, whether they all have similar goals of wanting to get better as individuals and more so as a team. If everyone's on the same path, then fun could just be coming down to sessions, working as hard as possible, having ball at your feet, playing matches, learning. Those could be the fun things for a player, and which was for myself.
And your friends emulated that kind of behaviour as well.
Yeah,
I completely agree. I look at my friendship groups growing up, and we were similar of wanted to get ourselves better. We weren't destined to be Premier League superstars, but we loved that kind of enjoyment of, well, if we listen and like execute on that skill that we're trying to develop, whether it's teamwork skills of passing and moving, right, or whether it's the individual brilliance that we're doing, that was our time to mess up as often as we could, so that we can feel no pressure or backlash from external parents or coaches watching us, and play with freedom. And I guess that was the element of fun, was we're able to just have a laugh, not put so much pressure on. Do you see nowadays there's a lot of pressure on the youth and football because of how glamorous Premier League and TV football looks?
Yeah, I feel, especially at younger age groups, I feel like there could at times be a bit too much pressure placed on children to perform at super crazy levels every time, or every match that they play, every training session that they do. Just because, as you said, the glamour of getting into the academies, the professional game. But I think there's a balance of like expectations, and like children are children at the end of the day. Like they still need that opportunity to grow, to learn, to make mistakes, and just to play.
Yeah. What's your thoughts towards having different activities? So they could still have their main important, this is what I love doing, this is what I want to be, like you said, your identity, I want to be that footballer. What's your views if they had another 2 or 3 different activities on the side that they were juggling, and they were happy to do so, but football was still the most important thing? Do you encourage that? Do you have any view towards it, or do you kind of discourage it, like, and focus on just...
To be fair, I think it's down to the person. If they are comfortable and they like doing something else, I think do it. If it's not stopping you from doing your love for the sport, which is football and playing or training, then you still have some spare time to do, whether it's what's coming to my mind, maybe a swimming,
swimming, dance, creative arts, watching movies. Like I said, just simple
things.
This is it.
If it doesn't stop you from playing football, I think why not? It's another opportunity to do something a bit different when you're not playing football. And
I asked that question deliberately because I feel there's a lot of identity put on young people very early, and when they don't necessarily fulfil those criteria or potential that people are discussing about them, I don't know whether it's the right thing to be just isolating that person to one activity, knowing that they've got their whole life to figure out what they actually want to do. And that exploring of things, whether it's, you can still be in the same industry, but like, for example, in football, you might go and play in different teams. Like, in my opinion, you didn't get different people, different voices, different environments to compare. I like that, I didn't like that, this one, not too sure about.
Yeah.
And you've got that informed decision of a range of examples. So I guess we're looking at youth development in general, and we'll talk about your experience of working in schools. There's such a vast interest towards whether it's PE or a subject.
Yeah.
How is it that you cope or manage or work with the group of individuals that have got a lot of interest is easy because they're already sold, but the ones in the middle or the ones that are disengaged, how do you keep them on track or supporting them, whether it's in a lesson at school or whether it's in a coaching session?
I think it's about talking to those individuals one-to-one, maybe just trying to find out if they're not so big on PE, is there an activity that we could come up with together that they could possibly get involved in. So possibly if when PE we're doing football and it's coming towards the end of the term, we're doing games, matches, and this individual doesn't really like the competitive element of matches, could speak to that child and see whether they like to do something else, maybe by themselves where they're practicing on a bit of passing, or maybe they have someone else, maybe a friend that they'd like to work with. Maybe they could do something a bit different whilst the rest of the class are doing their game. So I think just trying to understand what the child needs and what the child can and wants to do.
Yeah, I see this play out a lot of times where you've got the disengaged group of kids or adults at times.
Yeah.
How can you invite them back into the activity? And it can be not on the script of what was planned for the group, because they've got their individual needs and wanting to kind of show attention, and they're still developing skills, right? Yeah. By you giving them a different activity, they should be engaged and stimulated from that. Yeah. Do you ever try and encourage them back into the group? It may not be the same role as players and being active, but they could be like score taking. They could be referee or timekeeper. Like, do you do any of those strategies or tactics?
Definitely for the ones that do not like to actually play in the game. As you said, one thing that's quite big that I like to do is refereeing, just making sure players are playing by the rules, and then in turn they need to know the rules themselves to actually referee the match. So
it's interesting when that plays out, right?
So
red cards everywhere.
But it's I'd say finding different way, and it may not be on the same day where you bring them back in to do a refereeing job, or maybe the next lesson or the next session that you're with that child, that you may want to try and introduce them back into the game in some form. It's
like you said earlier, never closed door. It's just a new approach of how you speak to them, and once they are feeling comfortable and supported, they normally conform and want to try it maybe a little bit. Maybe you give them a shorter period of time of exposure, or there's safety zones that they can explore within the game. So I kind of say being dynamic and flexible, because a group will always be here and here in terms of the ones that engaged, regardless whether it's at academy, elite levels, or grassroots and community foundation, or in schools. It's just how we interact with them, right? Now, listen, I've gone completely off script. We went straight into the detail there. So let's zoom back out. Let's go and talk about, you said college before, where you started your coaching journey. That's where obviously we us met. Tell me, what was the first introduction around coaching for you? How did you get involved? And what were your thoughts initially when you first took the steps into the coaching world?
First steps into like the coaching world was probably just when we were in lesson and we had to deliver a session towards the class, which was like my first introduction to a bit of coaching. Or at that time, we probably weren't coaching. I was just told a bunch of my classmates to try this and do this. But yeah, that's when I first got introduced to it, and like,
How was that first initial when you're in front of a group? Because most
yeah,
people find public
yeah,
speaking, which it
yeah,
is,
yeah, yeah,
right, the most nerve-wracking moment.
yeah. I think at first it's not easy. It's difficult trying to be the person at the forefront, trying to speak to a group of people and put on an activity that they can do, and you hope that's enjoyable for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think just the more you do it, the more comfortable you get. And I think that's with everything in life. The more you do it, the more you know, the more you can do.
This is
So
it.
on, yeah.
It's just building up that experience. Whether
Yeah.
it's someone that says, "How do you get started?" Even in the question, I already know where the pain point is, which is you just haven't done enough of it.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, go out and mess up 1 billion times
yeah.
to realize no one cares. Like, of course, within reason, you're going to be given guidance and
Yeah.
support, hopefully, by your superiors and experienced personnel. But the idea is that once you start figuring out, right, this is my theme of pain that I can't get my message across, then it's just internal personal development.
Yeah.
Talking about, right, so what's my communication looking like? What's
Yeah.
my organisation looking like? What's my timekeeping looking like?
Yeah.
And then afterwards you go, oh my God, I'm coaching everyone externally, but I'm actually coaching myself.
As well, yeah.
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 So you came down to the club.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was my fault or my benefit.
Yeah.
Which was brilliant because I love when I see you guys in the classroom, but I always think this is all false. It's nice where you're out your comfort zone speaking to your peers
Yeah.
at class, but go and get your hands dirty. Go into the real world and see what it looks like.
Yeah.
Tell me about those moments when you came down to the club. What was your first impressions? And yeah, again, the first moments of coaching there.
Yeah, I thought just a nice setup. Loads of kids who were engaged, wanting to play, playing with a smile on their face, and I was intrigued to try get involved. At first, quite what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe shy to step in and actually take a group or to do a bit of coaching. As in, was my first time. So
Yeah.
as we were speaking about, like, the more you do it, the more experience you get. But that first go that you do have, I think once you step or take a step into it, I think look forward. Don't look back. Just look into what you can become if you.
So that's mindset, right?
Yeah.
And I love that because I feel like regardless what the current is today, the present,
Yeah.
there's always a tomorrow for you to go either, oh my God, I've got another day of it, oh, it stressed me out. Or you could think, I'm going to get myself better.
Yeah.
But when you have that process of I'm going to get better, positive kind of thoughts, give me the reality. What would they need to do in that 24 hours in their future session to actually say, I need to work on X, Y, and Z. But what is X, Y, and Z for someone that's brand new? Like, what tip in reality would they need to do for them to go, right, the next session will be better, it's not going to be 10 times worse?
I'd say big one is communicating, knowing how to speak to a group you're working with, understanding how you can best work and talk to them, whether it's your younger children, primary school kids, your secondary school kids who are just transitioning from year 6 to year 7, year 8, or your older kids, just knowing best how to try and connect with them.
Yeah. Is there different ways you connect? Like, what's the reality of those different age groups? What does a 5-year-old's communication for you look like now after all of these years' experience compared to like an older kid?
I think when you are coaching, say, a 5, 6, 7-year-old, I think energy is a big one. Energy, being vibrant, like your tone of voice, very important. Like just showing them like your inner child, which is one thing that you and John taught me of just how to get a child of that age engaged.
What would they, if we had a 5-year-old now, what would they be, obviously not listening in, what would their mindset be on a general day-to-day thinking process? Are they wanting to develop themselves, or is it like you said earlier, they're just there for fun?
Yeah.
Let's make it just light, make it just entertaining.
Yeah.
Right, tone of voice, I agree with, is crucial so that they can see the different levels of excitement that we can present to them.
Yeah.
What are they needing from you or any coach that works with that group?
I think at that age, like we've said, a lot of already. To be fair, just fun.
Yeah.
Fun. Sessions at that age need to be fun, need to be engaging.
How do they become fun? Like what is? I'm just looking at. I guess they're on their iPads. They're watching TV or movies. So, in our sessions, can we utilize those characters that they're associating on screen and bring it into reality of a session?
Yeah.
Because I think that's a crucial part of how we could be an inner child, bring out our inner child towards being fantasy heroes whilst they're being chased in a tag game of a coaching session.
Yeah.
Is that kind of where the imagination, the fantasy and the excitement comes
into play? Yeah. I'd say the relating things to what they do or what they watch or what they see into your football environment is a fantastic way to get them engaged. Like, whether at that age, I don't know, I'm trying to think back when I was that age, what type of things I was watching. Maybe Sonic, superheroes, all
the Avengers, the Green Hulk,
all of these type of characters that you can relate to a child into a football game, a tag game, like you were saying, to get them excited, to just to get them to think about, oh, right, so I've seen this guy, this girl on TV, in the movies. He or she's now here, getting them engaged and just energetic for the session that is put on.
This is it. The more wackier, I think, the better, because then it's just it. As much as we're coaching the children, they're coaching us in the sense of, right, coaches or adults, how creative can you be? And we're like, oh no, I just want to teach them the football rules. But we have to go into their world, because they're definitely not coming into our world until maybe years later. So comparison, if you're looking at that older kids, 15, 14 or 16 years old, is that now a lot easier because it becomes the adult chats? But is there any sticking points with that age?
To be fair, I'd say it does become easier as you can speak to them as a young adult or a grown child, for example. But I think maybe the difficulties that come in is obviously they're still growing, so puberty and stuff, where they may not have the same thought process or thinking as maybe you'd like them to have, because they're still trying to explore things, what they like, what they don't like, how they like to be communicated with, and these such things. So
I think you're dead on with the whole finding their identity again, because they've just come from a childhood where they loved the Avengers, they loved the Green Hulk, or they loved Disney, and now it's like not cool to know all of those associations. So it's a new identity, and now the hormones starting to kick in through puberty years. Socially, they're trying to find their fit of where they're supposed to be accepted. How do you deal with all of those complications when it comes to, I guess, fallout of teammates or friendship groups that are really strong that isolate other groups of individuals in the team? Like, do you see that play out, or is it football, get on with it kind of mentality?
To be fair, I'd say I've been quite lucky with the older age groups that I have coached. It's been a lot of football has been a factor to bring players together.
Mm.
Even if there are some disagreements or arguments, just come straight back to football. These things happen, maybe a bad tackle or whatever. Like, they all come for the love of the game. So I think that's something that brings everyone back around straight away.
Yeah, it's the common dominator between everyone wanting to be there for one reason, which is go play, go and enjoy it. Hopefully, keep the friendship groups that you have.
Yeah.
Right, and build some like good moments and experiences from it.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. You need a few more years at the older age group. Okay, so we're looking at now your time at HYA, because you were one of the original coaches there. In that time of being introduced and developing yourself as one of the more experienced coaches, did you see your role shift where you are now enjoying that freedom, but also the kind of superior vantage point that other coaches were seeing you guys at, because you had done and walked that path a few years before them, that you were giving out that advice, guidance and support? Like, did you enjoy kind of the role of helping not just the children in their football, but also maybe the coaches that are aspiring to get into where you guys started with your coaching journey?
Yeah, for sure. The main reason that I got into football coaching was to try and help children, help people. So once I have got that experience in my coaching, where I've been coaching 2, 3, 4 years, and I feel comfortable enough, feel confident when I am taking on a session, whichever age group I am working with, and having that opportunity to see younger coaches coming in and wanting to try and help them as best as I can to ease them through their first steps into the coaching world, was a good role to have, to just try and help. Yeah.
And what were your general tips? I know you said about just go through the experiences, like whether they're good experiences, not good experiences, everything just shapes you as a coach.
Yeah.
Was there any other additional either questions thrown to you about how to help that individual coach or group of coaches, or were you given some good golden nugget of information back in the other way to help them just kind of with their blind spots? Because we do all have blind spots towards what's our next level of growth.
Yeah.
So what did that look like when you were working with those coaches?
I think just understanding the environment that they're in, and what the kids need. Like, just keeping things simple. Not going too complex with practices or session designs, or like understanding the environment you're in and why the kids are coming to the sessions that you're at.
And what were the reasons? Obviously, we've listed the fun, the friendships, and so forth.
I think a lot of the reasons were obviously, like we just said, fun, and for kids to be with their friends, for them to have the opportunity to play with their friends outside of school, to be in an environment where they feel safe and they can play football. Just making sure you keep things, you try and work to what the children or the kids that you're working with want, and then going from there. Obviously, still trying to give them the chances to learn through coaching, but also making sure they want to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think all of that is so crucial, because when we're seeing a child, the fun and friendship groups would be probably always the top priorities.
Yeah.
Then afterwards, it's like people would debate development, and we're saying about sometimes the development, there's trade-offs, like, because then the fun might drop.
Yeah.
But they're developing really well, but then the trade-off is that they become better but more pressurized, and they're fearful of making mistakes at times. So from a coach that's starting their journey or into their journey over the last maybe year or two, would you say they just need to learn more about the game, learn more about children, like study everything that's been presented around them? Because I guess your evolution of growth was, yeah, you're doing it over and over again, but you kept asking questions.
Yeah.
You kept watching other coaches in practice.
Yeah.
Why are those important elements in your journey or other people's journeys so that you can see how your path is playing out for better?
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I think as the two big ones I just said, being keen to ask why a coach is doing something, and just watching as many coaches as possible, as many sessions as possible. Trying to understand why a coach is doing something will give you the knowledge that you need to take it into your own practice. And just watching different coaches coach and what they do differently, what they may do that's similar to what they adapt, how they're interacting with children. You may see some things that you like very, very well, and some things that you may not like, or you may do a little bit differently.
Have you got one example of both, like where you've seen something and you're like, I absolutely love that. I've nicked it. I've used it for so many sessions now, and I'm reaping the benefits because I was able to go out and watch and observe many coaches.
Yeah.
And then on flip side, did you see anything you were like, oh, not too sure about?
With the younger age groups, one thing that yourself, to be fair, and John showed me was just when you are speaking to children, like you're 5, 6, 7, is getting down to their level. Obviously, I'm quite tall, so children like normally come up to maybe my hips. So if I'm up here speaking, I just look like a big giant. So trying to get down to their level, which is maybe just going down on a knee, so they can see you, they can hear you, and you're able to, I'd say, interact and get their engagement a bit more.
Are you teaching them at that moment how to communicate without saying it? You're just in action, like the eye contact thing, the kind of close proximity. Because if you're here and they're there, it's very hard for the relationship to form, as opposed to if you're both at eye level and so forth.
I'd think so. That's something when I am working with new coaches and I am working with children, if I am taking sessions, I always try and demonstrate that, which is something that I naturally do, but so that they see what I'm doing to try and interact and engage with the children.
And I guess the outcome, the byproduct is that the kids or the group of individuals you're working with, they start feeling listened to or understood, because you're literally, you're coaching the group, but you go spend that moment in time with that child that needs a bit of time and attention with you. And I guess the job now is dividing up all of your resource of time and attention as best to serve that session, because you have, say if it's a group of 10 to 15 players, children, you've got to manage your time as efficiently as possible. And through sharp observations, figure out where is it that I need to go to next, so that I can resolve that kind of issue. Or give them extra attention because they're doing really, really well at the same time. Have you seen any poor practices of...
there's a couple of years ago at one of...
You don't have to say names.
Yeah.
Don't say it's me, by the way.
Just had a match against another team where the coach was speaking in a way to his boys at the time that I just didn't feel was a positive way. Quite like shouting intensely at his young players.
What age, roughly?
Under 9, so year 4 at the time, so 8, 9-year-olds.
Yeah,
very loud, shouting at them, and just the information that he was giving them wasn't the best information. So, even some of the parents that I had came up to me asking, like, wow, like,
are you sure that's what I just seen?
Yeah, is that's what's happening over there? Like, why is he speaking to the kids like that?
Do you feel there's lots of missed, like, activities that go on but get missed by the regulators by the FA or the county FAs and the referees associations, because it's what I regard as a minefield of issues, because it's so difficult to police every person's interactions. Like we see the FA campaigns to show respect, but for some reason or other, it just feels like as soon as we see football, because it's TV football of, right, yeah, they're professionals and they do get abuse, rightly or wrongfully, like they're still human beings, but to then bring that down into the youth experience, it just doesn't sit well for what you're seeing there as night and day of how you're supposed to talk to children. But for some reason or other, if you've got a tracksuit on and you've got your initials, you feel like you're entitled to kind of bestow this grueling communication to children if they're not performing well, and that could shape them for many, many weeks, months and years beyond, right? So how would you see those issues like be dealt with in an ideal world?
I think maybe first and foremost is parents not thinking that's the norm. As you said, they may watch TV, they may see coaches speaking to their professional players in a certain way and think, okay, this is how a coach communicates to these players. But I think just understanding that the environments are totally different. When you're working with children, it shouldn't be the pressure to win, to do this correctly 100% of the time. Like, children are developing, they're going to make mistakes, and just recognizing the environment that you're in. Parents are like, just knowing that if this isn't the environment that's going to allow my child to make a mistake or have fun, just take them out of that environment.
Yeah, because I guess by individuals, like parents still have the full control of where they take their child's football. Obviously, the child will have a say towards where their enjoyment is, but if the child is through just non-verbal communication, timid, like resistant to go to a particular, whether it's football or any activity, they are telltale signs that something's going on, and it's our job as adults to investigate a little bit more. So I guess it is down to communicating poor practices and celebrating good practices. So hopefully we're able to highlight good practices will get better rewards and benefits, not just as results on Sundays, right? But also instill good communities and people within them. That's what I'd like to know is, what kind of lifelong qualities are you trying to develop in your coaching and teaching, like for these young people or adults, like parents? What is it that you'd love for them to be passionate towards working towards?
I'd say just having the ability to be open-minded, be willing to take on information from different people, to hear different experiences, just try and learn as much as possible, be open to learning and having something that you're passionate for and working hard towards. So just whatever you are passionate about, just work hard towards that.
So work ethic, having that kind of dialed in pathway of what you absolutely love, and exploring it as best you can and as long as you can, and the open-mindedness. It made me trigger when you said open-minded. I was thinking, let me ask a contrarian question. That example of the coach and team that was being noticed for not the right reasons, would there be learning in that of why the coaches distilling that kind of energy and tone to those children? Is there any kind of justification, even though we're saying it from an outside looking in, not right, but do you reckon there should be some form of level of discipline or accountability? And how does that look at such a young, crucial age of, like I said, 7, 8, 9 years old?
I think discipline is something that you can look to try and instill, but I think there's a way of doing it. So the discipline side possibly could be something that you may kind of understand, but it's just how you do it. Yeah, and then how you look to try and make sure children or the children that you're working with are staying on task. Let's use that word. I think that's a bit better than, but yeah, I think there's ways, tone of voice, of how to do these type of things. Yeah.
Yeah, I always look at the analogy of like the carrot or the stick, what you go present. And in that example of the coach, he's definitely shown the stick.
Yeah.
There might be, I don't know, we don't know what the full complexity of the story. He might have had a bad day before or bad morning before the game, and that energy is now being presented in his frustration of the team not performing.
Yeah.
But I guess the carrot can influence a lot of motivation or aspiration to allow discipline to fall into its right place.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but like I said, it's a balancing act between the carrot and the stick. Like, do you see that analogy of how you present your coaching style, or is it always carrot because that's what you believe in the most?
I think it's understanding the individual child as well, and what will best get them to learn, to grow. I think you can't coach every child that you have the same. Like, even though you're coaching a team, I think first and foremost you're coaching individuals, especially at those younger age groups.
Yeah.
So,
isn't that right? Or like, I'm forcing my thoughts again on you here. Like at foundation phase, the primary school age, we're saying a team, but are they a team or are they individuals?
Yeah. To me, one thing that I believe in is the individuals first. One thing that I've spoke about quite a lot with other coaches is when you are working with foundation phase kids, like your year 3, year 4, you teach them to pass first or to run with the ball first. So pass or dribble. And
great debate.
Yeah, fantastic debate. To me, I think and I feel like teaching them to dribble, to be confident, to go on their own, to be an individual as they are, to explore that first, and then we can teach them the bigger aspect, which is to work as a team now, to pass the ball, knowing when to give the ball to a teammate and so on. So yeah, I think that's a...
No, I completely agree with you. I think fundamentally the foundation, the term itself is the base.
Yeah.
So the base has to be that you have to self-serve what you can do with the ball.
Yeah.
And then eventually you bring in the external elements of teammates.
Yeah.
Now, some people want the team element because they see Barcelona's under 7s and they go pop, goal, and they're like, why is this team ain't doing that?
Yeah,
and I'm like, expectations again, isn't it?
Yeah.
I need to discuss more of those coaches chats. I love all those things. When it comes to now, let's just move in the subject to family dynamics. Because what you're saying to me for over the last, say, 50 minutes is you want your players, your children, adults to become a better version of themselves, open themselves up to new thinking, behaviours, and learn new skills as they're getting challenged rightfully with the current issues and problems they're facing. Has that come from home? Like, where is that wisdom, like I've asked with Amoy and Theo, come from? Because you're all coming from similar backgrounds of thoughts of how to support children and adults in the communities.
Yeah, to be fair, that comes from like the support that I had. My mother was always so supportive of me, especially at the younger ages, of allowing me the opportunity to play football, to go and experience it, to take me to the teams that I played for when I was younger, on the weekday when I was training, then on the weekend when I had games, taking me to all of these places, just showing me as much love as possible and allowing me to grow a love for the game.
So she wasn't the type of parent that would come to games or trainings and afterwards say, Jack, why didn't you do X, Y, and Z? It was more, forget that, tea's on the table, like go and wash up and just get ready for the next thing.
Yeah, she'd always offer positive advice, but she would never ask me why I didn't do this, why I could have done this a bit better. I think she'd leave all of that to probably the coach, who would speak about X, Y, and Z, but just showing the encouragement, just saying, well done for today. Even though if it may have not been a win, it may have lost, but just show me it's okay, and there's always another day, there's always another week, there's a next match, there's next training session, there's always look forward.
Go for, as you said earlier, look forward to the next thing or the next challenge, because you can't change what's just happened.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. So,
and honestly, it's like we take these simple lessons for granted, but that's how you now believe in your coaching and impact other people. And I guess that's how we want to instill our communities to allow them that, things will go wrong, no problem. Like, but you've got another chance to put it right.
Yeah.
We can dwell and think and worry about what's happened in the past, but we can't change that. Even in the future, we might worry about, this problem. But I guess when it comes to your calmness and your patience of style of teaching and coaching, you just want them to be excited and invigorated towards, right, this is another chance for you to grow and showcase how brilliant you are. Yeah. Brilliant, Jack. Before we wrap up, is there anything we haven't necessarily discussed? We could be here for days, I reckon, in coaching worlds of chats, but is there anything the viewers would like to learn more about yourself in terms of your coaching, your teaching, or even things off topic that we may not have discussed about yourself?
To be fair, I think we've covered a lot of the coaching, the teaching bits. Trying to figure out possibly personally.
What's the next? Sorry, it's rude of me to ask. What's the next steps? What you're looking to do?
Right now, I'm just looking to continue coaching at the Grassroots club that I've just taken over. Coaching at under 8s team, so looking to just try and develop them as much as I can, and in the teaching role, just trying to year on year just improve myself, improve how I teach, and the experiences that I give to the children that I am working with. Yeah.
I think between the three of you, Theo, Amoy, and yourself, I got so lucky that you all came at the same time and took the initial acceptance of invitation to come down to the club, because we as a club benefited hugely to have young people to come in and not run 100 miles the other direction as soon as you've been asked to come out your comfort zone and just explore this new world where you said you enjoyed it, that it was still fun, it gave you a lot of time to figure things out. And the byproduct from that was the connections and relationships you've all built within the teams that you've been part of, the families that respect your time and efforts that you had with them, and now it's evolved into your teaching sort of careers. And I guess this is just a fantastic example of where good practices happen in communities, that you guys see an opportunity, take it with both hands, roll with it, not sure how it's going to work out, and credit to you guys, endure all the ups and downs to know that it's worthwhile. And I could only see in the next number of years you guys making more impact, like I said with Theo and Amoy, more impact, more purpose and more enjoyment, because you genuinely feel that burning desire in yourself. You want to give out more and more positive energy. So I want to say thank you, because it makes my job so much easier when I have like-minded people that buy into what we believe at the club and want to just give everyone their rightful time and attention to help people along their way, whether it's in football or non-football activities. So we would love to have you down again, Jack.
Yeah.
Right. I'm already getting by the other two. The possibility of getting all three of us or four of us around the table to fresh out more coaching debates and whatnot. So absolute pleasure to have you down here. And
thank you very much. I probably just want to finish it off by saying just thank you for giving me the first opportunity to go into the coaching world and just supporting me through my journey. Just a massive thank you to you, John, everyone at HYA. Thank you very much.
It's an absolute pleasure, and you always give me goosebumps because it's just feel good karma. So no doubt we'll be in contact for you to come down again.
For sure.
Cheers, Jack.
Thank you.
No? We done? Yeah? I thought you were going to give me the thumbs up. Solid.
Cheers.
I went a bit off piece.
Yeah.
I went deep with you first, and I was like, oh no, I've kind of...
To be fair, I just started for quite...
Yeah,